I'm Haley.
And I'm Kaylee.
And today we're reviewing Nope by Jordan Peele. What is this movie about, Kaylee? Read us one of your award-winning summaries.
Will do. So Jordan Peele's Nope takes on the out-of-this-world subject of aliens. After the sudden loss of their father, siblings OJ and Emerald find themselves responsible for the expensive legacy of Haywood's Hollywood horses. That's when things on the ranch start getting a bit haywire. First, the power starts to go in and out. Then, the horses start to go missing. And to top it all off, OJ catches sight of a bona fide UFO. With this latest development, the pair decide that getting the UFO on camera will get them the fame and money needed to save the Haywood Ranch. However, I'm drunk. However, capturing the Oprah shot proves to be much more dangerous than expected.
Wonderful. Nope. Written and directed by Jordan Peele. Released, obviously, 2022 this month. It is 2 hours, 10 minutes, rated R, and is classified as horror and sci-fi.
Ooh.
So let's get into the ratings. So IMDb gives it a 7.5 out of 10.
Oh.
Which is pretty high. Nope on Rotten Tomatoes. The critics give it an 82%, and the audience gives it a 70%. So makes sense to me. Sometimes more thinky movies, not thinky, but when there's a lot of symbolism and stuff, meaningful things, the audience, the regular audience tends to give it a lower score, as we see here. And the more intelligent critics, as myself, tend to give it a little bit of a higher score.
I wonder how this compares to his other movies, though. Get Out and Us.
Ooh, I can do that right now. Let's see. Not Get Out of My Room.
Get out of my home. Get out my swamp.
That was awful. What you just did there.
You didn't like my Shrek?
No, I don't. That was Shrek.
Get out my swamp.
I think it's a Scottish accent, not a whatever that was. Oh, you suck. Okay. Get Out. The critics give it a 98% and the audience gives it an 86%. I thought the audience would give it a bit more.
Yeah.
I will say I think Get Out is so far his best one.
Oh, I agree.
So this one, audience gave this one a 60 and the critics gave it a 93%. I think Us was misunderstood. I enjoyed Us. I do agree with some of the more like what people were saying a little bit more about that one, but I think overall he's had 3 very strong movies. That's just me. I love how I don't know what's happening. I think all of his ideas are super original and they're well done. So I will forever see his movies always because I think that they're at least like, you're going to see at least a good film, even if you didn't necessarily like it or whatever. I think at the end of the day, it was a good film. Yeah. Like it was well done. Whether or not you liked where it went with the direction is another story. We'll get to that.
Did not.
But let's get into a little bit about this movie. So we'll get into the cast. Obviously, it was directed and written by Jordan Peele. He said, "Y'all are not about to mess up my movie," and he owns Monkey Paw Productions, which I didn't know. You know what? Let me look real quick because I want to see what other movies that they did. Because I swear I've seen the little monkey things.
Candyman.
Okay, but doesn't mean he wrote it, right? Like those aren't his.
Those are the productions
movies,
from
right?
Yeah, they came out of this production house.
So Get Out, Us, Candyman, Nope, Black Klansman, Territorio.
Never heard of that one.
I don't think I've heard of that one. They did The Twilight Zone. Lovecraft Country, Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul.
That movie, I don't know.
That one hasn't come out yet.
Yeah,
that's the funny one.
It's like The Office, but for church.
So,
sorry.
Let's see if they can see her through the little hole. Say hello, Kiki Pee Pee. My mom said she watched one of the Everything Everywhere All at Once, and she said Kiki stole the show in the background.
No, she was doing it.
She said she was running around. Okay, cool. So it looks like he's been doing some stuff with his production company. I just didn't piece that together that was his production company. But let's get into the cast. We have Daniel Kaluuya. Say it right. Keke Palmer. I'm sorry. I'm not even saying who they are. Right. Gosh. Daniel Kaluuya. OJ Haywood Jr. Keke Palmer. Emerald Haywood. Brandon Pereira. God. I get so nervous when I do this.
I think that was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brandon Pereira.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. Sorry. Angel Torres, who plays the guy from
Fries.
Yes. Michael Wincott is the Antlers Holst. Stephen Yeun is Ricky Jupe Park. Ren Schmidt is Amber Park, Stephen Yeun's wife. Keith David is Otis Haywood Sr., so OJ Sr. Devin Gray is Ryder Muybridge. Terry Notary is Gordy. I guess he plays when they put on the suit, because he played the chimpanzee.
The monkey, yeah.
But anyway, okay, we're moving on. Barbie Ferreira. Hello?
I thought it was Ferreira.
Barbie Ferreira plays Nessie. Donna Mills plays Bonnie Clayton. Oz Perkins plays Finn Bakeman. Eddie Jemison plays Buster. Jacob Kim is a young rookie Ju Park. And Sophia Cotto plays Mary Jo Elliott. Mm-hmm. And that is the cast.
Beautiful.
So, did you know that there's an actual theme park you can go to now at Universal Studios that is a play on Jupiter's Claim, which is the theme park in the movie.
What is it called? Jupiter's Claim?
Jupiter's Claim.
Oh.
And so I saw a TikTok video of this, because that's how I first heard about it or saw about it. It's like people that are in like the set. They use real set props for it. Oh. It's a part of the it's a permanent attraction at Universal, so it's not temporary, and it is made from real set pieces, and it's a part of the studio tour.
Wow.
So they're out there, they're walking around, and there's of course people who I think are playing some of the employees, like the cowboys and stuff. And you're walking around, then all of a sudden you start hearing the alien, and everybody's like, "What? Really?" Yeah, but there's no like alien, like nothing flies around, so everybody's like, "What?" And then I think as you walk in, it's the same. It's destroyed. They have it like destroyed. So if you want to go, if you go to Universal Studios, go check it out and get on that little tour, because that sounds pretty cool.
That is cool.
Jordan Peele says this is his most ambitious project yet. And I watched a CBS Morning News where he just kind of talked a little bit in general. He just said he wanted a UFO horror film. And he obviously likes featuring people who are Black and not, I guess, traditionally white, if you will, in these horror films.
I can see that.
And I don't think he was basically like, he's never seen, a UFO film for him, so that's why he created this, and it's what he would have wanted it to be. He also says he enjoys the confused reviews. So when people are just kind of like, what? He's like, I'm totally okay with that response.
Well, that's good.
He likes that response. He likes people, to be thinking. And if they're kind of not really sure what it was, then he's not like scared of that or anything. It's an interview with Hypebeast. He says he feels a connection with Daniel, who is the main character, or arguably the main character, and enjoys working with him. He was also in the first, excuse me, Kiki, not her making rounds.
I know.
He was also in,
come on over.
So, and Daniel Kaluuya was in the Get Out, which was Jordan Peele's first film. So I think that they might be kind of a duo that we see going forward.
That is cool. I like them together, because I did like Get Out, and I think that Daniel does a really good job in any movie, because I feel like there's such a drastic change between his character in Get Out and this character in what's this one called? Oh, Nope.
That's what I said. I was telling my parents.
There's a big change. I
said I love actors, actresses, whomstever, who can, when I see them in another role, I'm like, that's a whole nother character. I feel like a lot of actors they kind of have their little own niche there going on, and they can kind of play not the same character, but like a version of that character over and over again. So I really appreciate how Daniel's character in this film was so different. I think he played this character so well.
I think so.
He was not having it. I was like, I believe if he was like, that's how I am in real life, I would have believed him, which is way different than the character he played in Get Out. So 10 out of 10, I think he did great.
Even his relationship with Kiki, like, it did feel like a brother and sister relationship.
It felt very natural. Their chemistry was really well done. So, and they probably get along really well, but I was getting that she's kind of like
his annoying little
sister, and she's kind of the older brother who obviously was affected, I think, in a different way than his sister was, in a more outwardly sad way and everything like that. So a little bit more from Game Revolution, another interview, or not interview, but they're just talking about the movie. Nope means not of planet Earth. Is that a general term, or this was just created kind of for...
I've never heard of it before.
The film. I haven't really heard of it either, but it means not of planet Earth, which makes sense because, as you know, the flying saucer, aka alien, is not of this what is it? Not of this Earth.
Planet Earth.
Yeah. And we'll kind of get into it later, but there is the theme of Nope, because I was trying to figure out what Nope is about, kind of, or what Nope means. And a lot of people are saying that at one point, OJ asks Emerald, his sister, if there's a word for bad miracles. And Emerald goes, nope. So they say that Nope is kind of a representation of the bad miracles that kind of happen throughout the film. And we can get into that a little bit later when we dive in more about like what everything means.
Yeah.
Now that we've gotten through that, I guess you want to talk about your overall thoughts?
Overall thoughts. I'm a little disappointed. That's my overall thoughts. And it sucks too because like I really avoided any trailers for this movie. We went to go see The Black Phone together and I was humming in my ears and not looking at the screen because I didn't want to spoil anything. Obviously, everybody knows it's about aliens. And I think that the reveal of what the actual alien was really cool. I think I'm just mostly disappointed because it doesn't feel, maybe I'm just a dumbass. That could be very much true. But it doesn't feel as deep as his other movies. I feel like Get Out and Us were deeper. But I just feel like we're on a downward. I'm drunk, okay? I'm on a down. It's like on a downward. It's going down. It's declining. Yes, it's a declining spiral of his movies. I feel like Get Out was really strong, and I think it's because he spent the most time on it. And then Us, to me, felt a little weaker, and then this movie really disappointed me. So I don't know if I'm as hyped to see any more of his movies because it's just like, if this is what we were waiting on, bitch, I don't know what we're gonna be waiting on next time. And I just was very disappointed. That's really my overall thought. Is just, I'm not completely saying nope to the movie, but I'm close. What are your overall thoughts?
Well, I think the opposite. I really liked this movie. I thought it was different. I thought it kept me on my toes. I think that it helped a little bit when I kind of did some research on the movie to kind of help, but I knew things meant something. I just wasn't sure. I had to have a little help putting some of the puzzle pieces together, but I liked it.
It's like Donnie Darko all over again.
Shut up. I like this movie. I thought it was pretty good. I really enjoyed how the alien was the ship itself. That was a good kind of twist because you didn't really know what was going on. And I'm glad because I kind of didn't want the aliens to be revealed. You know,
I was afraid.
I always get disappointed with the design of things. So.
And like when we saw the aliens, the first aliens, which were those little kids, I was like, please don't be these.
I was like, no, you're revealing too soon.
I know. I was like, we just started.
I like when it's ominous and you don't know what's going on. So I was glad that ended up being fake, even though they creeped the hell out of me. But
it was creepy.
I was glad that was not the case. But yeah, overall, I liked it. I thought it was intriguing. I don't think it was a perfect movie. I still think Get Out is his number one. I think I will say that this is above Up. Oh my gosh, Us.
Nothing is
totally
above Up.
No, that is tough. But no, I think Us. I would say Get Out, then Nope, and then Us. In my opinion,
would be the opposite. Yeah,
you would say Get Out,
and then
Us, and then Nope.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't like Us. I think Us wasn't as just with the whole storyline. I don't know. I still really enjoyed it, but I think that this one kind of had more. I don't know how to even explain it. It just was a little better to me. I don't know.
This isn't a common occurrence, us disagreeing.
No, we normally don't disagree. So,
I mean, okay, I will clarify. Whenever I watched the movie, I was intrigued. I really liked it. I was uncomfortable. Like, I was really excited about this movie too because I bought tickets that said that the seats were supposed to move.
Did they say that though? Did you go back and look?
I did look, and it's supposed to be that way.
Our seats were so uncomfortable. My head was pushed forward the whole time, so I was like, "These better rock and roll in here. I better feel like I'm in the film." Nay, a movement was moved.
Yeah,
not even water in our face. Yeah, like, I thought we were gonna get some sprays or something. The interactive 4D. Like, where is the seat? Where is it?
Yeah, I looked it up and Tristan was like, maybe it was just supposed to be about the speakers. Like they were so like immersive that you thought. Do that sometimes but too. It was like, no, you can customize how much movement you wanted in your seat. That's what the description said.
I didn't see anybody moving.
Me neither.
Or hear anything. It's just
imagine.
That would be annoying. Like half the seats are moving, half are not.
We just got the broken ones. I don't know. So I was just disappointed with that. So I was really kind of waiting for the movie to be over because my ass was uncomfortable. Haley kept squirming the whole time. She's like,
it was so uncomfy, and the girls next to us wouldn't shut the hell up. They weren't even whispering. They were just like, "Girl, talking. This is that." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, y'all! At least like try to whisper."
But honestly, I couldn't tell at first if they were talking because the speakers were really like surround sound. I heard somebody over here. I was like, "Hello," but it was just the movie.
Maybe we were immersed.
That was
we didn't even notice.
So you know some more stuff about this movie. You found meaning in this movie.
Yes, okay. I will say I think it wasn't as deep as you will as the other movies. I feel like Get Out was definitely into race and the dynamics there.
Yeah.
And then I think Us had a lot to do with how you grow up, whether you how you grow up
societal,
kind of changes how you are, and the people who are left behind or whatever, they were kind of underground.
It's like a class story too.
Yeah, kind of like
class
Parasite. This one I think wasn't as maybe big or as relatable as a movie. I don't necessarily think that it had some kind of as big of a meaning, if you will, because the other ones, it was a little bit more obvious to me.
Yeah.
But this one, so we have two storylines kind of going. We have the main one, which is Daniel's character, who is OJ Jr., and then we have Emerald, who's his sister. And they have kind of a failing business because of the random death of the dad, seemingly, because a quarter or a nickel falls out the sky and hits him just right. And then of course we have the other guy, who is Yoon's character, and he is played by, was it Jupe?
Well, he's played by Steven Yeun. His character's name is Jupe. Yeah.
Yes. And he has a storyline where when he was younger, he was on a talk show host with a chimpanzee, or many chimpanzees that were playing the same character. But one of the chimpanzees on set, after was triggered by, I think, one of the balloons and different things, then started being very violent and killing everybody, a lot of people on set, basically. So you have two things going on, and that's how they introduce the story. So for the longest time, I'm like, how are they connecting these? And well,
can we first say, whenever they first started, it's like Monkey Paw Productions, and then we go immediately to like a violent chimpanzee like attacking people, and I was like, damn, Jordan Peele's really like stepping up like his production for like his little.
You thought the whole thing was just the production scene?
I was like, man, Blumhouse has nothing on Monkey Paw.
We're getting a whole short film story. No,
but no, it was actually just a movie, so I was a little confused at first, but then it just kept going.
The audio behind it,
I know.
Before they switched from the monkey's paw,
it was just like
it was the audio of the chimpanzee kind of in the show. So you're like, is this?
I didn't know it was a movie.
But yes, so we get that. And then so there's kind of, you're like, how are these going to connect? I will say I don't think that they were supposed to connect. I think, the story of Jupe's character, his backstory has everything to do with him and just him. Yeah. It's not crossing over with the alien. It's not supposed to. I thought because the shoe was standing on its point. Yeah. There was a shoe that seemingly was like standing up. I thought that was going to somehow come back into the sci-fi thing, but it didn't really. And from what I gathered, they were saying that was most likely kind of something that Jupe had in his mind. Like they say sometimes when there's traumatic moments, there's something that stands out to you the most. It was kind of a thing. And it also, Jupe, from that point on, Jupe did not get killed by the chimpanzee. He was... somehow saved. They kind of go into why. We can get into that a little bit later, but he was not killed. It seemed like the chimpanzee had calmed down. They were going to fist bump, but then right as they were going to fist bump, the chimpanzee was killed by a bullet. And
now, okay, speaking of that, he was like he was showing the memorabilia from the show Gordy's Home, and he was like, this is the first like exploding fist bump, blah blah blah. And I was like, is it exploding because he got his brains blown out?
Well, who got the picture of that?
No, I think the picture was like of another one, because that's what they would do. They would fist bump. But I'm like, is it only exploding because he said it was actually exploding. It was explosive.
Little explosion. There's that going on. And then the shoe, I think, was kind of, more symbolic because Jupe saw that as a miracle. And we'll, I guess, can talk about that. But it was kind of like, he thought that he was saved because he's special, or there's something about him, or this is his destiny, this is his calling. How did everyone else get mauled but I didn't? Right. So I think the shoe is also a representation of kind of like the mirror. It was maybe potentially in his mind.
It's a bad miracle,
which OJ's character states. And you'll see there's a lot of bad miracles throughout the whole thing. And I guess a bad miracle just means, because a miracle you always associate with like good things. It's kind of like a happening that's just out of anyone's control. It's almost otherworldly or a spiritual or a higher power. But these are bad miracles. So the bad miracle,
that's my stage name,
being that he's the only one who survived.
Here comes bad miracle.
Nobody wants to see her. Oh, that sounds dangerous. So you don't have a lot of good luck.
Not at all. They start throwing pennies at me.
Get off the pole. Too many accidents. But yeah, so I think the shoe was kind of more symbolic of the miracle, or just him thinking that this was somehow a significant moment when it really wasn't.
Well, I mean, kind of significant. He did survive. And
he did survive.
Almost
but
died.
Significant to his destiny.
Yes.
Was not. But significant to his life, absolutely. So so I think that whole thing had to do with his character, because then you see that later in life, as he gets older and as he is trying to present the alien as a show for people, I think he thinks he has more of a connection with the wild animal alien than he really does. And that is what meets his untimely death, basically, and everybody else's death. I thought his character would survive a little bit longer. I think that's why I was a little bit confused with his character, because it seemed like there was no character development for him because he dies. But I'm not mad at it, because I guess you don't have to have this arc character for everybody.
No.
But I will say I was a little bit confused on the significance of his character, because I feel like they really built him up to kill him, but maybe it's just something unexpected. I think we're so used to everything tying itself in a pretty bow and being like, this is how the movies go. You have a beginning, a middle, and end. So I almost don't mind it. There we go. Because I feel like it's a little bit more unexpected and it's kind of more realistic. Like his untimely death was also caused by something that we saw earlier, but there really is no resolution. There's no end to it. So I don't mind that. And I think that there are still parallels between Jupe and Emerald and OJ. Yeah. It
did seem like it was going to be a lot more significant with this monkey story, because we literally start off the movie with that. And then I guess I'm just kind of confused how the relationship between Steven Yeun's character and the alien was even made for him to feel like he had a special connection with something that was unnatural or something that was untamable.
You say you don't get why he thought he was?
No, I understand why, but I just wish they would have showed us how he built that relationship.
Got it.
Because I'm so confused. Like, how did he not die? I thought if you look at that man, the alien, if you look at the spaceship, then you're going to die. But
maybe he didn't really look, because up to that point, he had just been sending out horses. And the horses generally would run out and then be eaten kind of farther out.
That's true.
So I will say...
But his first interaction, he was on the horse.
Who?
Jupe. Steven Yeun.
Did we see his first interaction with
he was telling the story of like why that... But I don't know how much of that story is true, because of course he's a showman. So he was like, yeah, I was on a horse and there was fog, and then like the horse disappeared, and this was the alien.
Maybe he didn't really see the alien. Okay. Now you're biting.
And now you're done. And then like it seems like he was building like a relationship because he dedicated a whole thing for it. So it's just like kind of interesting how in that 6-month span he didn't die at all. Like the alien never ventured closer. I'm just a little confused.
Well, I think the alien wasn't really... I can see what you're saying, but I think it kind of goes into maybe his overconfidence a little bit, and maybe somehow that kind of not carried him, but... I'm trying to think. So, because it's a big space. So the alien probably wasn't over his area the most.
No, he was mostly in that cloud that was like off to the side.
Yeah. So maybe because you have to like look straight up at it. So I guess we could say that like he probably should have been eaten already.
Yeah.
But I feel like, but if you also notice, I don't think the alien was as present, because if you notice, it wasn't until, because when did he set it up? Did he set it up after his dad was killed?
Who? The Jupiter's thing?
Yes. Was that set up?
Guess so.
Because I guess the timeline, I was a little bit confused.
Yeah, I just don't know when, like, so was Jupe already there, or did he move in that 6 months and make it like a whole amusement park? Is it brand new? Like, I don't know. Yeah, the timeline.
Because it seemed like 6 months had passed from the time that OJ's dad passed away. Yeah. There had been 6 months before OJ even saw anything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's possible the alien wasn't really as in that area, because how did they not die yet, or how did they not see anything until we start seeing the weird happenings? So I guess it's kind of like, I think that Jupe's character probably put that there first, and then that started happening, because I feel like if you're going to set up a world, you're going to make it a little bit different if you're trying to set it up for a giant alien running around,
right? Because it's like a Western thing, and then there's an alien, which is really weird.
Cowboys and aliens.
No, yeah,
if you will,
right?
But so I'm gonna say that. So I'm gonna say that either the alien was kind of not made it its home quite yet, and maybe there were certain things that Jupe started noticing, but it was a little weird, because I'm like, so Jupe's character has been giving these horses for a long time, but OJ and Emerald have only noticed stuff 6 months later.
Yeah. It's
but
just
the details.
Yeah, and it's just like the human thing. Like, so it seemed like once he had a taste for humans, he was going for them humans too. And it's just like, we know that he already had eaten humans before, because
the keys and stuff,
and the quarters, they killed. So it's just like, why was he settling for horses? Maybe it was just I
think it's just
I'm tired of chicken and rice every night. I want to spice it up with some horse.
Well, it's probably a lot more filling. Yeah. But they said it's any organic material,
which also doesn't make any sense, because why did he eat the fake horse?
He didn't know. He doesn't know. I think we're assuming this is a super intelligent being. But they kind of compare it to just a wild animal. So it's not, I don't think it's supposed to be intelligent in terms of like what we normally think, that they came here on a ship with technology. It's kind of somehow ended up on Earth and it's just eating stuff, and it sees a horse that looks like a horse when really it's metal. Yeah. So I don't think it's as like intelligent as we're thinking it was supposed to be. It's kind of like a wild lion or something, and it thinks and it just sucks stuff up. So it's not like it can sniff that we know of and it gets close. It sees it from a distance, assumes it's what it has been eating, and then it gets caught with the flag.
I don't know. I think what it eats and what it doesn't eat, I feel like wasn't consistent through the movie, because with the horses thing was kind of weird, and then like it saw OJ in the little shed area, that there's like one time when it was like chasing it around and it didn't eat him, but then like whenever he goes past the house, he starts sucking up the house that Keke Palmer's character was in. So it's like, why didn't it start sucking up that little sticks? Like, it's just like, I understand it's a movie. He has to live for a little bit longer. But it's just like
OJ's character?
Yeah. So it's just like, why did it pick and choose? Why don't y'all just make it consistent of what it eats and what it doesn't eat?
So you're wondering why OJ's character wasn't being eaten in the same consistency that other characters were.
Right.
So they were saying that there is kind of a parallel with OJ and Jupe. And they both, because if you note in the beginning, OJ's character struggles a little bit with the wild animals. Like when his father passes away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like he's not really his dad. He's not as confident. He deals with the horses, but he's not bad with them, but he's not great with them. And then you have Jupe, who has history with, wild animals. He has used his trauma from his childhood to kind of profit off of it and hasn't processed it. But in him not processing that trauma, he becomes to think that his bad miracle was some kind of direction in his destiny. So it's kind of like, while you have on one hand Jupe, he is kind of not respecting nature and wildlife as it is.
He's abusing it.
He's kind of abusing it, profiting off of that. And, obviously he had a very traumatic childhood. Yeah. But he's almost kind of created this identity through it that's inaccurate, like because he survived. And they say that the thin veil of the tablecloth is actually represented what kind of saved him, because he didn't really look the monkey, because there's the whole thing of not looking it in the eyes. And I think you're like, well, that's kind of silly, but I think it's more symbolic. It's kind of more of there's that respect for nature there. So I think that's what it means. It's not supposed to be like, oh, because you might be like, oh, that's stupid, like you look the animal in the eye, but I think it's more symbolic than anything. So he did it on accident, but didn't realize that that's what had happened. So he goes through his life. He just thinks he's special. So going through that, it ends up being his demise. Whereas OJ, on the other hand, he realizes, he recognizes nature. He kind of respects it. And he actually kind of goes a different route in understanding the animal. And that's why he keeps going back to the house, because he's kind of like, no, I think I understand it, but in a more respectful way. Because he's not really the driving force. I think Emerald is more the one who wants to profit and take a picture. But OJ's character is he's more intrigued and interested, but kind of has a different respect for the animal. Right. So I think that's kind of like the parallel. You have two people who figure out what's going on. They're both smart. They both see what's happening, but you have one character who's profiting off of it and going in a direction and is not respecting that in a sense. And then you have the other character who does a different way. So I think that that's what they're trying to do, of like two people, and because of their experiences it doesn't end up great for one, and then for the other one he survives. But they say that he even kind of like tames the horses too, like his character at the beginning, he kind of is not really great at that stuff, but then kind of almost gets the groove of it, almost kind of
towards the end,
like his dad. Yeah. So I think that's what they're trying to do for that. Now, is that some deep, meaningful message that everyone can relate to? I think that's why I got kind of lost, because people were like, what does that mean? I was like, I don't think it's supposed to mean something as big and universal as the first two movies. I think it's just like like it's just a movie.
Yeah, it's just like, I've learned this from Spirit, that one with the horse where you can't break him and you have to have respect from him. I'm like, we've already seen this message even in real life, where like people have raised chimpanzees as like their own like pets or like kind of like roommates.
Well, that's the inspiration.
Yeah, and then like they attack somebody, or like with what's his name, Sigmoid and Roy, I don't know, with the lions, and they almost die too. it's just like we know this. And so I was expecting more of a meaning to this movie, but it was like, you have to respect nature. You can't control nature. I'm like,
I don't think that was the
bitch,
meaning,
I'm not
though.
trying to control nature. I'm not going out into the wild, wild west trying to get on some damn horse.
But
no.
I don't think that was the message.
Okay, what was it?
I don't think there was a message. Like, I truly don't think that this was like a telltale.
I think that was the message.
No, I think that was the theme. But as for the other ones, I think they were kind of making a point. But I don't think, like, the way he just talks about it, I think he was just making an alien story. And this is just how it panned
so
out.
that's even fucking worse.
So, no, not in a bad way. But I don't think it's like, you need to respect nature and nature respects you. I think it's just...
I think it's more of like, nature is not tameable. We think it is. And whenever we overstep our bounds, things happen. And that happens in real life too. So, like, I get the message in the meaning, if that is the meaning, but it's just like we all saw 2012, like that one about the apocalypse, like, or the other one, like The Knowing, when Mother Nature strikes back and makes people kill themselves. Like, we've seen this, and it's not intriguing enough for me.
So what would be intriguing enough for you?
I don't know what kind of message I wanted from this.
Why does it have to be a message?
Because it's Jordan Peele. All of his other movies that have messages.
He has 3. He's allowed to divert after the second one.
If he made it a theme for the first 2 that he's going to have deeper messages, then you would expect this one to.
I mean, he talks about, I think it's outside of the wild animal thing. I think it dives into trauma. And because if you think about it, and I know that's like an overused word, but when this is truly trauma,
but that's
y'all.
also not even new either, because that was what happened in Us too.
There's
and
only
that's what
so
happened
many
in
things,
Get Out too.
There's only so many things that humans can go through, Kaylee. You wanted to pull a new trauma out his ass and be like, this is new?
I don't want trauma to be a theme.
What do you want it to be? It's alien. They're killing, Kaylee. There's gonna be trauma. This is a horror sci-fi film.
But that wasn't the trauma you're talking about. You're talking about Jupe's trauma.
There's 2 trauma.
Oh, what was the other one?
OJ's character went through, I wouldn't say it's the same trauma, but he watched his dad die. That really messed him up, because you see he's like depressed and almost doesn't have a voice after that. And so it's like trauma. Now, is it saying beware of trauma?
Nope,
I don't think so.
So trauma is a base.
You can say that about any movie.
I know trauma is a baseline through all of his movies, which is fine. Get Out was about trauma. Us was about trauma. This one was about trauma as well. But Get Out had a big meaning. Us had a big meaning. This one's about fucking nature, dude.
Why not? Nature is pretty big. And if we don't respect nature, we're going to die.
Yeah, but it's been done. That's what I'm just saying. It's just like, it wasn't as original or like thought-provoking as I wanted it to be. That's really my thing. His movies were thought-provoking. This one was just boring.
I didn't think it was boring. You thought this movie was boring? You gonna sit here and tell me?
Talking about the movie was boring. Yes. I had a good time watching it, but when I was talking about it with Tristan, I was like, some of these things don't even make sense. This is the meaning of the movie. I'm bored. It's stupid. When I think of Jordan Peele, I think of thought-provoking movies, things that are going to make you think, things that are going to have you talking about stuff. My dad was like, is Get Out even really about racism? I'm like, Dad,
yes.
For reference, he's black, so don't come for him too much. But he was like, he wasn't thinking of racism in the traditional, he wasn't thinking of it as like they hated black people. Like, that's when you think of racism, you think of like hating for black people. He's like, no, they literally wanted to become black people, which I think is different. And I was like, yeah, but they're also not giving them bodily autonomy, which is still racism. So we talked about it. Mm-hmm. And so that was like thought-provoking and talking. It's like looking at racism through a different lens, which is great. I loved it. And I think that's why that movie came out or had such a good response, is because he spent the time to make it that way. And like, I don't think he's given the same amount of time for these other 2 movies that came out. And so I think you can see not the same level of like craft that I'm wanting. And so I was disappointed with Us too, because of the same reason. It was still a little deeper. It was about, we already talked about it. So it was about like class and other things like that. But with this one, it's like about a balloon.
It's not a balloon.
Okay, it's about an alien.
And did it not get you when they were like,
no,
it's not
cool.
even an alien ship? Because who would have thought that instead of an alien ship, it's just an alien that flew in from like somewhere else on accident? We don't know. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it came from the depths of the earth. You know, like those stories where it's like a tomb
like Cloverfield?
Opened. Yeah, and like monsters were here the whole time. They come up. Is that Cloverfield?
No, I was wrong.
Anyway,
he came from like an asteroid, landed in the water, then he came out later. But anyways.
But I thought that was at least interesting. And
I think that was the coolest part, was the twist on who the alien was. Because you think it's a ship because it looks like a ship, but then it's actually an alien. So I agree. That was very cool. And seeing the people die inside the alien was very disturbing. And I agree. And
can we talk about that scene?
Part.
That was intense.
It was intense.
The people getting sucked up into the alien and them actually showing the stomach or the mouth or the esophagus or the whatever of that alien, and they're trapped and screaming, and then you see the dead horse that had been eaten earlier that was decomposing, and then you hear their screams flying throughout the air, and then they keep screaming and screaming this horrific scream until all of a sudden you hear this and then all the screaming stops, and then it bleeds on the house and drops all the shit it didn't want to eat.
Not him taking a shit on their front porch.
That was crazy. Oh, I will say, I mean, I guess another thing is like the spectacle, because then they had that random director guy that I was struggling to figure out where he was in anything, because they got him to get the shot, and then of course, I guess it was almost like people who were so obsessed with a spectacle as well, like the obsession, because they all wanted to get the picture.
Right.
I mean, Jupe wanted to get the notoriety for taming and having a show with the alien. And then of course Emerald and OJ were mostly Emerald, but both of them were trying to get the perfect shot, you know, so they can get money and the overshot and kind of revive the family business. And then you have the director who kind of gets thrown in there a little bit, who
that's what he does.
That's what he does. Nature shots are really cool, intense shots of nature. And then
especially
of course,
with like Predator and Prey, which is what he was recording again.
Watching over and over again. Anyway, and then you have the Fry guy, who I guess is there for fun.
Oh yeah, forgot about Angel.
So I think that was another kind of theme of like the culture of, you know, no one wants to call the police or I don't know, the army. Like God forbid we call someone to come in and get this thing.
Right.
So I guess if you want to say that, it was a little bit about the culture of, instead of getting help, let's take out our phones. Let's make some money off of it.
That's true. That happens now.
This whole alien killing folks, and they still just want to get a picture. They have blood down the sides of their walls. You better believe the FBI, CIA is on my port. I'm gone.
Ghostbusters, somebody. Right.
So I think that also could be something, if you wanted to look at it that way, of the how we as a society, instead of helping people just pull out their phones.
Yeah.
It's more of getting the shot or getting the picture, or being the greatest or being there first or this or that. So instead of actually reporting the alien, they let it roam around and feast until they got the pic. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Even sacrificing their own lives like Antlers did. And the TMZ slash Diplo
with that helmet.
Yeah, the big old helmet. Is that Diplo? It's one of them. Where's the big old, or is that
Marshmallow?
I don't know. He looked like he about to blast the meanest rave track of all time, and I didn't get his helmet or anything. I didn't get his character. I was so confused.
That shit was so annoying.
I was so confused.
That last part, their battle scene was pretty interesting for the most part, but there's that scene that was really weird and random. I didn't like. And the scene with Keke Palmer and Daniel, like being like, "No, you go."
I was so confused
like,
with the ending. They were looking at each other. She's trying to get on the motorcycle. He's on the horse. They're like looking like they have a plan, but I don't think they had a plan. I'm not sure if they ever had a plan.
No.
But that was a little confusing.
And like when Keke Palmer's character ended up running off to Jupe's thing and like unleashing the balloon, and like I'm like, did y'all discuss like how y'all were going to defeat the alien?
I didn't get if that was her, like that was their plan the whole time, or if that was just her on a whim going, this could work.
But that was Jupe getting his revenge, huh? He said, "Yeah, you're not going to take me out that easy, bitch."
If you want to say that as well, you can.
But look, I mean, it's a balloon, and what triggered the chimpanzee? A balloon. And then what killed the alien? A balloon.
That's crazy.
What does it mean? Nothing. So it came full circle, I guess, with balloons being the cause of the demise for something, either people or balloon animals.
Yeah.
Aliens.
Something like that. I thought it was interesting how the alien turned into a different shape at the end.
That was interesting. I thought he was dying at first when he ate something, started like exploding a little bit. I was like, "Oh, is he dying?" But no, he just kept getting bigger.
I wonder what that final form, or not final form, but what that new form was. And then the other thing kept coming out, and it was like,
that's how the movie started too. We were inside the alien in the very beginning.
Oh yeah, we didn't realize we were.
I don't know. I just feel like Steven Yeun's character was a bit of a disappointment. I love Steven Yeun. Don't get me wrong. I love Glenn. That's my baby daddy right there.
Sorry, Tristan.
Sorry. I like the parallels between Jupe and OJ. I think it's really nice to see that. But I feel like we should have seen more of Jupe's like maybe evil side of him knowing that like it wanted human sacrifices and maybe doing that. Because like it was really weird in the middle of the night when they had all those lights come up and then they were like beaming the light to the cloud. I was like, oh, that looks like some satanic cult kind of shit. But no, I don't know what they're doing. Practicing?
No.
I couldn't hear a word he was saying anyways. I was like, where's the captions?
No. I would have thought it would be interesting if they did human sacrifices, like you said. Like it would just be if all of a sudden Jupe was actually, like if he did have more of a taste for humans and he started like sending out humans somehow. That would have been kind of not cool. It
Very cool.
A
Love a
different
serial
take.
killer, right?
But the horses, because then you realize that all the horses that OJ thought he was going to buy back, you realize that they've been just being sent to be eaten. So
To their demise.
to their
So I guess that was
demise.
kind of like his sacrifice right there. Was so it was a little evil, but I just feel like we missed out on Jupe's relationship with the alien. I feel like if we were able to see a little bit more of like how he even came to have some kind of relationship with the wild beast like that, it would have been more interesting for me to like get the impact of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it just seemed, okay, we have a monkey storyline. What next? And we have Jupe like looking off into space and still traumatized. Okay, what's next? He dies. I'm like, oh, so there is literally no reason. Like we could have had the same movie without that man or the monkey.
Yeah. I do see how I would have liked a little bit more backstory, like you said, with Jupe's character and kind of how he got there. Like even if they give us a little bit of a more flashback kind of before even OJ knew about the alien.
Yeah.
I think that would have been cool.
So yes, rating time. Haley, what do you rate this movie?
What, out of 5? Mm-hmm. I give it a 4.
Oh, that's really high. Is that it?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Am I supposed to? Oh, yes. Give it a 4. I think it was really well done.
Uh-huh.
I think it was interesting. I was intrigued. I give a lot of points if I'm not bored. I was not bored.
Yeah.
So it gets points for that. I think it was well done. I think it was well acted. I think that the cinematography looked good. I think that I like the twist. I do agree with you on some things, which is why it's not like a perfect movie 5.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that some things could have been discussed a little bit more in depth. I do think that the end scene was a little bit confusing with kind of the plan and like what
If
the
there
characters
was a plan, yeah.
what the characters were feeling or connecting about at the end, because I just didn't know.
Yeah.
So there were some things there, but I think overall, I think it was kind of a unique twist on the UFO, because UFO means unidentified flying object.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's a machine or a ship. So
Right.
I'm like, it's still
So
a UFO.
it definitely was a UFO or whatever Angel said they were called now.
I appreciate some of the scenes. Some of the scenes were actually like creeping me out, not in like a jump scare way, but in a way that I'm like, oh, that was good. That was like that one scene where just like, we literally like, oh, that was intense. Where they were getting eaten,
Yeah.
It was just
that
an
was
interesting
crazy.
scene. I feel like you never really see that part of it. You just see people disappear and then that's it. So yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I would recommend it. I think people should go watch it. I can see how a lot of people wouldn't necessarily enjoy this movie. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I like Jordan Peele's films, and I'm excited for the next one to come out. But what about you?
Honestly, like I said, whenever I'm sitting in a movie, I get a number in my head. I got no number in my head. I honestly don't know what to rate this movie, which is surprising. It doesn't happen often. Like the only times like I don't rate movies is if I've already seen them. So I'm like, I don't
Okay.
want to rate it. But I don't have any words for this. I have a lot of feelings. I really enjoyed it when I was watching it for the most part. I like the twist like we talked about. And I think that's about all I like.
Okay. So what did you rate it low, or you don't want to rate it low?
No, it's just like
What's
I really don't have a rating, because I did initially when I was watching it, I did enjoy it more, but more when I was talking about it more, it fell apart for me. There was not a lot of intrigue for it to me, like with like the talk about it afterwards. That's what I enjoy doing. I love talking about movies afterwards, but when a message isn't strong enough or doesn't have that big of a punch or more things to unpack, then it's just like, so I'm a little, like I said in the beginning, I was disappointed with this one. I was really, I guess I don't think I did like on purpose, but maybe subconsciously I hyped it up a little bit because I didn't want to see anything.
I think so.
I love Steven Yeun, and I love Jordan Peele's movies, but after this one, I'm like, I don't think I'm a big fan. I feel like I might need to like go back and rewatch his other two and see if I still enjoy them, because I feel like Get Out broke the mold for a lot of things, and now everything is like, this is like Get Out meets Devil Meets Prada, blah blah blah. Anytime it has anything to do with race, it's always a Get Out reference.
Yeah.
So it broke the mold for a lot of things, and I want to go back and see if I really still enjoy it just as much as I did before.
So what do you rate it?
I don't
care. You have to rate it. We can't be done.
I don't have one.
Okay.
I have it.
Pick one.
A. That's my rating. A out of 5. Yeah.
An
Nope.
NOPE. You can't even give it like a 2?
But I just
Why
don't-
wouldn't you give it a low score though? That's what's confusing me. I thought you would at least be like, I'll give it
because I don't think it's like a bad movie. Like I think it is an interesting concept of having the alien be the UFO, or like what we identify as like a ship. So I think that was really interesting, and I like the visuals of the alien as well. And I like being able to see, this is what I was nervous of, that we were going to see too much of the alien, which we did see the whole entire time. But the evolution of it was really beautiful to see, and I liked it. So, like I said, I had a good time watching it. But when I was talking about it, I said, this movie's ass. But I'm like, that's not fair for me to say it's ass just because I don't like to talk about it.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know what to rate it. My body is conflicted. They gave me no number.
Your body.
I was waiting for a number to come and it didn't come. So,
Well, all right.
I don't know. But if there's a lot of things that you don't know about, or you just want to say nope about, you can check us out on Instagram at Haley and Kaylee. We also have a TikTok at Press Podcast where you can look at our beautiful faces talking about other things besides movies. Ooh. We also have a website at presspodcast.com where you can catch our blogs, and our podcast lives there as well. What else do we have?
Yes, we have a YouTube channel. If you're watching us now, you obviously know where we're at Haley and Kaylee. You can check out our other reviews here, or you can check out some other random videos we do from time to time and expect to do more in the future. We also have a Gmail account. So if you want to email us at presspodcast@gmail.com, tell us what you thought about the movie or any other movies that you would like us to review. And if you do want to just listen to us audio, you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere that you listen to your favorite podcasts at Press Podcast.
Yes. I'm sorry I don't have a rating for you guys.
I'm sorry too. You're trash.
Damn.
Sorry.
But let us know in the comments what you thought about this one. I'm really interested to see.
I am too. I want to see if it's really split or if it's leaning one way or the other, because I actually don't know. We're usually pretty agreeing on movies, so the fact that we don't even really agree is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I mean, to split the diff, Tristan liked this movie, so.
Okay. How much did he like it?
He gave it like a 3.5.
Okay. So about around me. I think I gave it a little bit higher.
Yeah. So he just thought it was a good time. When I was talking to him about it, he was getting annoyed. He was like, Kaylee, I think you're just thinking too much about it. I was like, oh. If only.
Who would have thought you would be overthinking?
Me? An overthinker?
There's no way.
But we don't know what we're talking about next time. But hey, you'll find out when we do.
Hi, I'm Haley.
And I'm Kaylee.
And this is Press, where we talk about things that press us.
And stress us.
What's on the menu for today?
Today,
I was going to make a joke. Sorry.
Oh, what was the joke?
I don't know. Something with meals. What's on the menu for today? Horses?
What is this, IKEA? Remember that?
What?
Because they did like their meatballs. They were made out of horse meat.
Like actually? No.
Yeah.
No, they weren't. They're Swedish. They're made out of beef.
Beef.
What's horse meat called?
Beef.
Okay, try that again. And what's on the menu for today besides horse? Let me speak. I'm joking, bro.
Okay, I'm ready.
And what's on the menu for today? Horses, perhaps? Or potentially a giant amusement park balloon?
Ooh, yeah.
Was that good?
It was beautiful.